top lane. KP tanking quite a bit of damage here, just trying to steal this initial creep wave. Does pop the salve super duper early and then loses it to the creeps. Torrent is going to end up landing on him and looks like he's just dead. KP going to go down here for first blood. Does he have enough for a town portal scroll? Yep, alright. He buys up a couple of TPs, but looks like he is going to miss most of this first wave. Can he at least get a little more pressure top? Move with the regen rune, gonna keep that chakram out there. It looks like Boboka is gonna be forced to head back to top lane. Alright, so... Oh! Alright, Invoker died anyway. I thought he was gonna play safe, but never mind. Looks like Mu just... I don't even know why he was over near the tree line. My bad. Alright. Invoker down, so Kunkka's just gonna come and soak mid lane. They know that Kunkka's there, so KP and Kaka are gonna be looking for this kill on top. Crush does connect. QD gonna do his best with the reflection, but just ends up being a target for the Splinter Blast. As Mu is just gonna pick up another kill on mid. Easily brings down the Kunkka and just saunters away from the Invoker, no problem. 6-minute rune gonna be popping up for him. Looks like he just wants some of the experience over here. But they do have the Invis Timbersaw moving into position at the same time. Tranquil Boots picked up for KP, does end up spotting out the Kunkka. Off to the side, Ana pressing forward aggressively, still has the Cold Snap, won't be forced to use it. They do just auto-attack him down, they get the glimpse back onto the Invoker, now throws the Cold Snap over onto Chuan. Ana in trouble, just gonna do as much damage as he can before he goes down to the Chakram. Wrong rotating in, but won't be able to do too much more, and that's just gonna be the end of that. 1 for 1 here on the mid lane. Kunkka gonna have to take the... We see a lot of lifestealers kind of just go for a Blightstone instead early on, but I think this also works out just fine. Ana in some trouble mid. Not going to get slowed up immediately by the Arctic Burn. The hit actually missed uphill, but he's still going to get glimpsed back. And looks like he's still going to be an easy kill here. Mu picks up a dominating streak. Already making pretty fast progress towards his Bloodstone. QD is going to try and pressure top with his maxed out Metamorphosis ready to go. This big camp. But they might find him there anyway. Yeah, they've kind of gone one step further here. There's going to be a glimpse sending the Skywrath Mage back to top lane. So he can't interfere here. The Ice Wall does get dropped down. KP looking for the Crush. Cold Snap interrupting it, but even with that, the Invoker's not going to be able to survive. I guess they're like, oh, Invoker's not here. Where's he going to be? Radiant Scan is actually going to reveal the fact that there is a gank coming in from the side. The scan usage this game has been super on point already from these two teams. QD does get the Sunder off. Kaka gonna lose a little bit of life, but still fairly healthy, and it looks like the Terrorblade is gonna be brought down. Nice Splinter Blast bouncing off the Kunkka, and looks like they're just gonna be leaving him for dead, as Hao is also gonna come charging in. Kunkka trying to TP out, and actually manages it after the Radiant jungle here, but faces forward just a little bit too late to actually find him. So they swing towards mid, they take this opportunity to put down an Observer Ward as well. And they're going to C3 as they come around the corner. Can they get this Chronosphere? It catches everybody. QD going to start laying into them. The Torrent Boat also comboing down. KP will be finished off. Mu still surviving on the back lines. Time Dilation has already worn off, so it looks like he is going to be able to continue fighting. Static Storm thrown down onto XXS. He gets glimpsed back into it. QD still going at it. As Boboka actually manages to grab a double kill on the back lines. Mu looks like he might still be keen to chase something down here. The Kunkka does not have a Town Portal Scrolls. We've got an infested up Hellbear Smasher doing some scouting as well. As the Bloodstone is also now completed on Mu. Is this Blink Dagger finally finished for KP? It is. Alright. Even if they gank him right at this moment, we're going to have a Static Storm on mid lane. They use the Winter's Curse to set that up. And out pops Hao to say hello. Pick up that kill on the Faceless Void. Meanwhile, top, Mu also gonna find out the Invoker and bring him down. That's one more charge for the old Bloodstone. Okay, so Newbee, 2 quick kills, and now looks like it should be 1 easy tower. IG still somewhat keen to defend this. QD looking for the deny, but he's gonna get Splinter Blasted back. Kaka in a little bit of trouble. Torrent Boat combo comes in, surviving a little bit longer with the help from that raindrop, but not really enough. Skywrath Mage getting chased down here. KP keen to find this kill, does jump in with the blink into the Crush. Oh, one more auto attack's gonna do it, but he gets Chronosphered and now Wrong turns around. Drops the Mystic Flare and looks like he's gonna survive just fine. Void actually gets sent all the way back to the fountain, but it doesn't matter. And now Chuan's in some trouble. KP has actually baited his teammate into a bit of a dicey situation. The Reflection's gonna catch around the corner here. They've got the X marks the spot. They've got the Torrent mana as well. Sunstrike coming in, and Chuan will also end up falling. This KP just not accounting for the wand charges on the Skywrath Mage, or thinking that his Slytherin Crush was going to do a little bit more damage, but they do have a Blink Dagger on the Faceless Void, and I don't know if this has been scouted yet. The Dire Scan is going to reveal that this high ground is safe to move up onto. Neither team really going to have the high ground advantage here. If they can burst down Kaka, that would be big. He gets up onto the cliff, but does get chronoed. Looks like he's going to be focused down by the Sunstrike and the Torrent, but KP finds a counter-initiating Crush. 3 stunned up there. Hao, a little bit difficult for him to get into this fight, and now the boat is going to catch out Mu, who's been silenced up as well. And looks like he is going to get right-click down, might go for the Bloodstone Suicide. Will end up popping it. Now they drop the Static Storm onto QD, won't be able to sunder here. Hao's still fighting, but he's losing life quickly just to the right-clicks. Pops out with the Infest. Found a creep aggroed into the side of this fight. Deafening Blast not quite going to clip Hao. Looks like Sunstrike also a little bit off the mark. He's getting health back up off of that open wounds, and now KP jumps in for one more 2-man crush. Wrong gets glimpsed back as well. Chuan going to keep on right-clicking. Ana's been brought down, and KP still healthy. Should be able to finish off this final kill. One more blink, one more crush, one more auto attack. Double kill for KP, and despite it looking like a pretty bad start there, Newbie's still going to walk away with a very convincing team fight. They didn't have the Winter... Nice fast fingers from him. He's going to be able to blink himself backwards, but that means Blink is on cooldown for a little bit. Hao is going to get torrented back, does not have a rage available. Sunstrike also coming in. KP with the counter-initiating crush, catches 3, and now they've got the Winter's Curse as well. That's going to immediately blow up the Skywrath Mage with the help from the amplified damage, and now Ana is caught in the Static Storm kinetic field, blown up by Mu. The Chronosphere is going to get dropped down. Hao in some trouble, but they've got the Cold Embrace to help save him. Terrorblade does get the Sunder off. Mu dropping a little bit low, but does manage to send himself skyward with the Yules. He gets dropped down into a Torrent and will end up falling, so they at least claim that streak. And QD looking for more. They've got this X marks the spot to bring Chuan back in range, but Hao is still fighting on the back lines. One more auto attack should bring down the Kunkka, but he's got the self Yules, buying a little bit more time. KP still crushing through this fight. One more auto attack should do it on the Kunkka, but they still cannot address this Terrorblade. He's going to pick up a triple kill. Hao wants to come back in, however. They've got one more crush buyback from the Kunkka. It looks like it's not really going to be enough, and he may just end up falling as well. These TP Illusion's going to do a little bit, and they will actually end up picking up that kill. KP moves back. One more jump through, blows up the Kunkka. That's a dieback for him, and the Skywrath Mage also looking like he might be in some trouble. The tower ends up going down to the Radiant. And with the Faceless Void and the Invoker both returning during the Winter's Curse, which I think is going to be very important. And if they're forced to Winter's Curse him during the BKB, then all of a sudden his teammates have a ton of free reign. We've actually got a 4-man smoke here for Newbee. Got to jump in. Chronosphere going to catch the 2 important supports on the backlines, but KP once again with the crutch catches 3. They're going to blow up the Skywrath Mage immediately. Terrorblade amped up, but we'll be able to get the turnaround here onto Hao. Mu waiting on the high ground. Not the best area of the map for him to be fighting in here, so they're going to try and bait them in towards the choke point. XXS is going to actually get another time walk off potentially. No, not quite able to do so. We've got a Sunder. Chuan returning to this fight. The BKB is going to be popped, and looks like KP will get right click down. Kaka still has the Winter's Curse available. Could throw it down to the Kunkka, but it won't be necessary. They blow him up with the damage from the Timbersaw. Chuan now trying to escape, but the Dragon Lance range is going to help QD catch up. And now they drop the Winter's Curse. Might just be to try and escape here. Mu lining things up. Still has the Yule Scepter available. Comes in for the Whirling Death. QD's still fighting, but Mu is just way too tanky, it looks like. He's going to, for some reason, self-Yules there. Alright, they get the glimpse back. It looks like QD will finally fall. They kited him around in circles forever, and just kind of goes to show what happens to the Terrorblade when they don't have the Invoker and the Faceless Void there ready to fight. Fight this one. The boat's still on cooldown for 10 seconds. Roshan dropping quickly. 4k, 3k, 2k. Buyback from the Faceless Void. We do have a Torrent coming in. That's going to slow things a little bit. Void looking to get in here. He jumps in. He drops off the Chrono, but Hao's already picked up the Aegis. The Meatball flying through on the backlines has already killed off KP, who is just looking to keep them away from the pit. Faceless Void now trucking onto Chuan. Hao running forward. The Aegis is going to be popped, so Mu hides in the Invis for the time being. We'll be looking to re-engage right as Hao pops back up, but it's right into the Ice Wall, and he's silenced immediately. Will be brought down. Invoker surviving on a sliver of HP as that Chakram comes back through, and the bash from the Faceless Void is going to help keep the Timbersaw locked in position. He yields himself to buy a little bit more time. QD still getting kited around here. So we did have a buyback from the Void there. Kaka able to force staff into the trees. Does get X marked right as that TP ends. So gets brought right back and will be finished off by QD. Well, pretty convincing teamfight win for IG. I mean, it cost them the buyback, but whatever. Aside from Chuan, actually. He's already TP. That's why he doesn't have one. Double Chakram is going to clear out the TB illusions pretty quickly. If they can wait at the Metamorphosis, that might be a good time to fight. They're going to jump in, but they only managed to Chronosphere onto Mu. Boat's coming in as well. KP counter-initiating with the Crush. Is going to use himself for a little bit of space. The Winter's Curse also helping out, and it looks like the TB just blowing up the Invoker with that Winter's Curse. They also glimpse back the Faceless Void. QD going to keep on fighting, but he doesn't have any control left from his team, and he's just going to try and TP out. KP will not be able to get a bash. And Kunkka gets crushed up inside the Double Chakram and brought down. That is going to be, at the end of that fight, a clean 4-0 victory in Newbee's favor, and all of that pretty much off the blind Faceless Void initiation. You could see what he was going for there, but unfortunately jumping in dragged the Invoker all the way to the front. He dies, and with that, they even managed to catch out QD outside of the base. What is he doing here? Alright, I should have been watching that, but I have no idea what the Terrorblade was doing outside of the base at that point. He gets caught. Trying to get out of here. There is going to be a buyback from the Terrorblade, and Newbee just somewhat going to sound the retreat. They have managed to catch Chuan a little bit further over. He's still got the Static Storm. His team is coming in to assist. Sunstrike is going to be on the mark, and that's going to be enough to finish that kill. KP still considering going in here. Hao also has a Blink Dagger to be able to move in forward. Mu going to start frontlining, does get caught up by the Torrent. KP only going to get the Crush out onto one. Double Chakram, doing a little bit of damage, and they get the Winter's Curse. QD's going to end up finishing off the Invoker for Newbee, but they do also end up losing KP. Kaka trying to escape over the trees, but does get caught by a Torrent. QD still pressing forward, has another Reflection, up and available. Mu still pretty healthy, jumps into the backlines looking for this immediate kill on the Skywrath Mage. Needs one more auto attack to do it. 3 HP on this Skywrath. He's still going to survive. That Chronosphere is a total whiff unless Mu somehow runs into it, but he won't. He's just going to blow up the Faceless Void and keep on running. We've got Hao rejoining this fight, looking to fight up against QD. Does need to be a little bit careful, though. Narrowly sidesteps the Torrent, but manages to get into an Ancient Granite Golem and comes back in. Sunder's still available. Mu finds the Kunkka. That's going to be the gem hitting the deck as well. QD, well, alright, one more BKB TP out for him.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Alright, top, only one here, Kaka. Also another potential target, but we'll be able to Arctic burn his way up onto the high ground. The Dire Scan is going to reveal a couple of heroes over by the Ancients. What are they going to go for? XSS just jumps in completely blindly. It's on top of Hao. Can they burst him down? They've got the Silence, they've got the Sunstrike, they've got the Boat, they've got the kill, but the Static Storm Kinetic Field is going to catch over onto QD and onto Wrong. KP jumping in with his BKB. QD getting glimpsed back. The kiting is already beginning, but the BKB is going to help keep him in this fight for now. Mu has been silenced on the backlines, and despite having 80% of his hit points, just pops the Bloodstone Suicide. Right now, Faceless Void with the Force Staff and the Blink. Ready to go in with the Chrono. QD, plenty of damage as well. They're going to get him close to the front of this Chrono as well. And looks like Mu is just going to get right-click down. They attempt the save with the Winter Wyvern. It looks like it is going to be successful. Now the Winter's Curse coming over into the Faceless Void. Kaka swooping in out of nowhere with the save. And QD, as BKB's running down really quickly, is going to get cancelled. TP out, not successful, and Mu living through everything, just going to lap up these Bloodstone charges. Oh, the Timber was just a little bit too tanky. Did they have a Sunstrike? Okay, I saw Sunstrike. Boboka gonna do his best to defend, do a little bit of chip damage. Nice tornado from Ana, but Mu's still chasing in for him here. They've got the X Mark, the boat coming in as well, along with the Cold Snap. But Mu's got backup on the way. Hao right in here. They are gonna have the buyback out of the Terrorblade as KP also comes in, amping up the Invoker. But now trying to retreat out. Doesn't actually have his BKB at the moment. It looks like KP is gonna be the first casualty. Actually lost Mu in the midst of all of that, and IG chasing forward, looking for more. Chuan, Static Storm Kinetic Field. QD's right in the middle of this, won't be able to pop his BKB, but the Chrono catches one right on the edge. That's how he still has his Aegis available. Kaka still with the big plays, making the save, but that's just going to set up for the Mystic Flare. The Disruptor being brought down. No, the Tornado actually saved him for a little bit. Down he goes in the end, though. Hao popping back up from the Aegis, has a Rage in 1 second's time. Will he be able to get the Infest off? Nope. Cold snapped into Oblivion, and alright, I thought it looked like Newbee had that, but they just dove the enemy base. Yet there's no Chuan. QD's just focusing on the objective right now. Still has the Sunder, could get bash locked, but it's not going to happen. KP still saved for the time being. Faceless Void, no chrono for 25, but the boat does come through. Not that many heroes getting the rum buff. Chuan drops a Static Storm. QD the focus. Can't really get anything off. Will be killed off. And that is 100 seconds for him on the sidelines. Ana just trying to escape here. He's going to Ghost Walk and make his TP escape. They got the... BKB on cooldown for 2 seconds. Who else has got buyback? Ana's got buyback. So if they threaten for the base, this is definitely where you go. And is the Invoker How gonna get jumped? Meatball coming through as well. Can they actually keep him alive? Almost with the Glimmer Cape, but it's not quite enough. KP jumping into the front lines, but looks like won't be able to really crush up anybody. And now the Urn and the Cold Snap does manage to Yules himself. Stays out of the Torrent, but the Ice Wall is still there. Nice Force Staff from Kaka. Gets him a little bit further away. Chuan with the Static Storm, only gonna find Ana, and the Winter's Curse gets blocked by the Lincoln Sphere there. Timbersaw needs to dispel this time dilation, so he will Yules himself up. Oh no, that was he doesn't have the Yules anymore. That was the Yules from the Kunkka, so time dilation still sticking on him for the time being. Hao's dead for 50 seconds. Kunkka kiting around on the sidelines. Ana coming back in. Everything is pretty much on cooldown for him though, and eats a double chakram to the face. Does manage to Yules himself and buy a little bit more space. Another Timber Chain down for Mu, but now he's silenced for an eternity. One more boat coming back in as well. Looks like they might be able to work down this Timbersaw ever so slowly. KP Yules up on the side. Everybody is kiting everybody else. Kaka doing his best to keep his teammates alive, and it looks like the Kunkka will end up falling. Timbersaw sent skywards, gets dropped down, does pop the BKB, but the Sunstrike's still connecting. QD running in. They want this kill on Mu. He's got the Timber Chain, gonna try for the TP out. Oh, gets Yules at the very last moment though. And Mu will be finished off. This is safe. This is a safe high ground to push up here. We're going to be taking this fight on even footing, and they know that Mu isn't here. There is a creep wave close by for him to be able to boots of travel into, but what can they actually find? Are they going to go for the courier? No, they jump in. They drop the chrono. That's on KP, and Hao is lying inside of him as well. The Meatball's still going to connect along with the boat. He's dropping extremely quickly. We'll be able to turn around here and start lifestealing up a little bit, but he loses his life. Got the Tornado flying a little bit further forward, also catching up on Kaka. Mu realizing that this fight is completely over. He's already just trying to push out the lanes. Kaka does manage to get off the Winter's Curse, but gets X-Mark the spot right back into the waiting arms of IG, and that is going to be the end of him. 4 for 1 in that fight overall. Invoker coming, TPing in, trying to force some buybacks, trying to find this kill on Mu. Looks like he's found his feet here, and he is ready to rock and roll as IG look to close this game out. Kaka waiting in the trees. Another big Winter's Curse. Could also be game winning at this stage. How gonna get jumped, and they blow him up. It's no buyback on the Lifestealer. He's down for 100 seconds. Kaka also obliterated. Chuan does manage to get off the Static Storm, but they know that this game is over. GG gets called, and that is gonna wrap it up for game 1 here in our best of 3 grand finals for NEA 2016. That was a great game. I think I, like most people, came into this series expecting that Newbee were just gonna walk all over it. We loaded into the draft. We saw that Ferrari